Nigeria is Africa's most populous country. Rice is a major staple food for its rising population of over 180 million people. The huge demand for this commodity explains why local production fails to meet demand, and although rice is a traditional crop in Nigeria, local production was limited until recently. In rice farming, choosing the right type of variety is as important as choosing the right soil for bountiful harvest. It is important for rice farmers to select lands that are fertile and high in water retention. This includes lands that are swampy or contain organic matter like loamy soils. In Nigeria, agricultural production is mainly rain-fed, and farming systems depend largely on the broad ecological zones resulting from disparity in rainfall and the response to this constraint. The absence of appropriate water storage facilities as well as variations in rainfall affect subsistence rice farmers mostly in northern Nigeria who do not have enough water to farm and produce rice for more than once a year. The inadequacy of rainfall, changing rainfall patterns, and occurrences of dry spells are also not helping matters for these rural rice farmers.
My major problem in farming rice is water. We do not experience enough rains to irrigate our rice farms. Fertilizer is also a problem. I spend much money buying water and fertilizers, and this affects profits.
Traditionally, many rural rice farming communities use water drawn manually from shallow wells or streams to water their rice farms. Government has in times past put in place irrigation schemes to boost water supply in support of agriculture, but the results have not been very impressive. The nitrogen use, water efficient and salt tolerant rice, also known as the newest rice, is a variety of rice enhanced with genes that boost nitrogen intake, allow for more efficient water use, and address issues of soil salinity.
For normal rice, our conventional rice varieties that we have here, which were subjected to some biotechnology processes to make them to use the minimal available nitrogen on the field so as to achieve maximum yield on the field, unlike other conventional rice varieties like Faro 44, which requires huge amounts of nitrogen for it to attain the maximum yield. Then the water use efficiency. Due to the process, there's a lot of challenges facing rice production, which also include the availability of water, the erratic pattern of the rainfall nowadays. So there's a need to take care of that by getting a variety that will be able to use the little amount of water in the soil to achieve maximum yield. Same goes for salt tolerance gene that is present in these newest rice varieties.
The water-efficient trait of the newest rice allows for improved use of water in rice farming, particularly in drought-prone areas. Apart from irrigation challenges which affect rice production in Nigeria, which the newest rice is expected to address, soil salinity is also a big problem. Scientists describe salinity as an abiotic stress which severely limits crop production. Saline soils are usually the reservoir of a number of soluble salts which could result in severe crop damage. It is believed to have potentials to affect the world more vigorously and extensively in coming years. Increasing land salinization is also associated with increasing salinity in water resources. It changes fertile land to unproductive land, which ultimately results in economic losses. Irrigation of soils is directly proportional to decrease in soil salinity, and it is the most severe factor that affects the growth of plants. Soil salinity has been identified as a major setback to rice cultivation in Nigeria alongside other climatic factors. The newest rice has the ability to control soil salinity in rice cultivation and is seen by scientists as a major boost to improving rice farming in Nigeria.
Most rice, like especially for those grown in the lowland area, are grown in coastal areas where there is always water. And when you also look at coastal areas and the history of coastal areas, you find out that waters that inundate our field, respect to flooding, comes with salt in it, and rice in its own does not like a salty water, because salty water binds to this to the nutrients and make this rice not able to reach some of these nutrients. So when you have a variety that will be salt tolerant, it could in turn, be able to reach out and get these nutrients and be able to use nutrients efficiently. So what it does basically is deprive the rice plant from reaching out to get nutrients. But when you have a variety that is salt tolerant, it could tolerate whatever amount of salt you have in the soil and be able to also reach out and get nutrients for use.
Already, confined field trials on the newest rice are ongoing in Nigeria's National Cereals Research Institute, Badegi, North Central Nigeria, and the results have been good.
They are in a confined field trial, just like you can see this environment. Now here, we have up to 10 varieties of rice. 8 are genetically modified, 2 are not genetically modified. They are from conventional. The ideal objective of this trial is, it is called nitrogen use efficient trial, meaning we want to know the genetically modified rice here that can do very well without or only little nitrogen application. That is only little fertilizer application. So by the time, most of the major problem of the farmers are, we have fertilizer, we need fertilizer, we don't have fertilizer. Fertilizer is costly, it's not even available. Now, we scientists are trying to bridge gap where farmers can still have their demand, high yielding rice, without this constraint, or this constraint solved.
When these experiments were carried out, there was conventional varieties that were planted alongside with these events. They are not released varieties yet, they call them events. These conventional varieties are referred to as checks, to compare what you obtain with the normal conventional varieties and these newest varieties, to see the differences in the yield and some other parameters. So the things observed on the field was, part of the things observed on the field was the color of the leaves. Color of the leaves depicts the amount of nutrients present in such plants. So the ones that has these NUE genes, the leaves were greener, which means they took up more of nitrogen as compared with the checks, which were supplied, the two of them were supplied with minimum amount of nitrogen. This means that the newest was able to take up more nitrogen efficiently compared to our conventional varieties. That's one of the things noticed on the field. Then in terms of yield, the ultimate target for this experiment is to get a variety that gets more yield as compared with our check varieties, even in the absence of large quantity of nitrogen in the soil. We were able to notice a major difference, a wide gap between the yield obtained with our normal conventional varieties, which is less than 3 tons per hectare, compared to these NUE varieties, which the range is between 6 tons to 7 tons per hectare.
Local farmers who have been part of those trials are highly impressed with the variety.
They plant this rice here without water. They cover it at times, they don't give it water. But still, it do well. So if I can get this rice for my farm, even when rain stop and my rice never do finish, I think this type of rice will do very well in my farm.
I spend up to 7,000 naira to buy fertilizers. I also rely on the rains to irrigate my rice farm, but the improved variety can be planted with minimal rains. With a capital of 4,000 naira, I will be able to plant and harvest the newest rice variety. but the conventional one requires much more money to plant. I look forward to this variety's commercial release.
When the confined field trials for the newest rice are concluded, approval for the commercial release will be sought from relevant agencies. This development is expected to help increase Nigeria's local rice production capacity and assist government's efforts at ensuring the country is self-sufficient in rice and totally eradicate the importation of the commodity.
Nitrogen use efficiency is something that is so glaring that once you see it on the field, there is this appreciation that comes with it. Even the farmers, when they were here on a visit, they saw the difference between our conventional variety and the nitrogen use efficiency varieties. They saw the difference because those ones with nitrogen use efficiency were looking greener and the yield was even more. So the ultimate goal of a farmer is to have more yield on the field. So the acceptance was great. Currently in Nigeria, we still import rice, and achieving self-sufficiency is one of the objectives of this government. And I think New West will go a very long way, because for a farmer that spends like maybe 20,000 naira to on an hectare of rice in terms of buying inputs like fertilizer, this will go down gradually, because in fact it will be drastic. Because when you talk about NUE, it means you use less amount of urea. Urea in this case is the source of nitrogen. So when we use less than 30 kg of urea for 1 hectare, compared to people using 60 kg, so it reduces the amount of input that gets into the rice production. So a farmer producing 1 hectare of land can now decide to go for 2 hectares. So it will lead to increase in the production of rice.
Rice farming is viewed as a potential means for income generation as well as the alleviation of poverty and hunger in Nigeria. Scientists are positive the eventual deployment of the newest rice will help the country become a major rice grower in Africa, which will not only farm enough rice to feed itself but export to other parts of the world.